I shall tell you the story about my pet frog, starring Parent's sister and Phoebe the dog. It began at an end-of-aisle display in a super Target on a very hot day. Plastic tanks were stacked one on the other, with African dwarf frogs swimming in water. $15 is all that they cost. I insist we'll take two, one for me and Big Sis. Hers died, of course. She's notorious for that, despite urgent CPR attempts on a placemat. Mine, however, thrived, as you guessed. Jim Dandy was his name, and this is his quest. With an intertank rock, tragedy was fated. Poor Jim's right arm was amputated. Ever the survivor, this didn't faze him. He just swam a bit crooked, minus one limb. 3 years later, college move-in day, it was 1,000 degrees in Norman, OK. Unpacking my stuff, I accidentally forgot Jim Dandy in the car, and it was sweltering hot. I rushed to his tank. He'd been boiling for hours. "Belly up," I cried, sobs echoing in the towers. All looked dire. To the cafeteria I flew, tossing ice cubes into my Jim Dandy stew. Praise God, he came to, flipped over and sloughed. To shed his skin, this frog was tough. 4 years of college with my aquatic pet, plus 3 before, we were quite the duet. So I'm sure you can feel how sad I must be when he couldn't accompany me to NYC. I left him to my sister, faith in her restored. Seemingly she could handle another pet on board. But Oklahoma that winter froze up in a storm. Sis took her cat and her stuff to where it was warm. With the electricity out, she left so quick, poor Jim was forgotten, his tank an ice brick. My mom tried to thaw the block with hope. If this was the end, how would we cope? Melted ice or tears, it's hard to say. He didn't swim crooked in the water that day. Mom told Dad to ceremoniously discard poor Jim Dandy in our pet graveyard. So rest in peace, amphibious friend. You and this story have met the end.